Hey everybody, this is JT Takis, the State Broker of Record for Delaware, and we're going to go over for new agents or anybody who wants to watch this video about what forms you need when writing a sale. So you've been out with buyers, you're showing them houses, and all's good, you're excited, they're excited, and they find a house and say, oh my gosh, we love it, let's put in an offer. And if you are like every other new agent, or most other new agents, you suddenly have a very minor panic attack because you have this, oh my gosh, now what type of moment. So we're going to go over how to fill out these forms in other videos, but right now, let's just look at the 6 very quickly. And we'll just scan them, take a look at them. I mean, visually scan them right here. So you have 6 forms. That's the first thing I want you to think about. You've got a buyer sale. We need 6 forms. That's what you need to gather. Okay, you should have these 2 here. The first 2 are CIS and wire fraud. These are the 2 that I call the one-on-one forms. These are not to be shared with the listing agent. These are for your office file and for your files. They are signed and authorized by your buyers, and you keep them. You don't share them with the other party. The other one is the big one, of course, the agreement of sale, and that's the offer. Now, keep in mind that's a multi-page form, so you want to make sure that you print it out, if that's what you're doing, all the pages. The other 3 here, and we'll just take a quick look at each one so you actually see what these things look like. The radon disclosure, lead paint disclosure, seller's disclosure, property condition. These 3 disclosures are provided by the listing agent from the seller. So let's just look, and you need to have your buyers authorize all 3 of these. So let's just look at them real quick here. Just so you have a glance of it here. You've got the logo, consumer information statement. Everyone just calls it the CIS. It's 3 pages. They don't need to do anything except on the last page here. Again, we will go over each form separately, but just take a look at that 3rd page. You're going to sign it down here. You're going to sign it as well. Wiring scan. This is from EXP. There's a lot of horrible people in the world. If they're going to wire funds and somebody sends them an email, says, hey, we need to change your information on it. This just says, you know what, double check. So at the bottom of this, they're going to sign it down here and date it. All right, this is just for you and your client. You don't need the sellers to sign it. You don't need anyone else. You don't need to share it with anyone else. This is for our office file, the first 2 here. Okay, both of these, the CIS and the wire fraud, just for our office. All right, here's the big one, the agreement of sale. This is the main puppy, as we call it, the main show. Just keep in mind down here that there are 9 pages in here. All right, they're going to sign the last page, initial each page. We'll go over that in another part, but I just want you to see what it looks like. Agreement of sale for Delaware residential property, not for land or anything like that. The seller's disclosure of property condition, also a multi-page report. That's what it looks like. You're going to get this from the listing agent. Where do we get these things? And here's a radon, 1 page. They're going to sign it down here. The lead paint, again, 1 page. They're going to initial and sign down here, as are you down here too. So where do you get these 3 lead paints? I'm sorry, these 3 disclosures from the seller? Well, they should be on the MLS. A good agent will have it on the MLS and should always have it on the MLS. So go to the MLS of the listing of the house that they fell in love with, your buyers fell in love with. Look around, you'll see some icons. Something will probably say disclosure or documents, reports, something like that. They should be in there as PDFs and download them from there. We'll go over what you'd be looking for, but they, of course, should be completed by the seller. So the important thing to remember here, with these 2 here, the CIS and wire fraud, you're not obligating, and this is a conversation you want to have with your buyers each time, you're not obligating them to anything. You're just, they are acknowledging receipt that they have gotten these documents. And second, with this here as well, the radon, the lead, and the seller's disclosure, same thing. They're not. That's a conversation you want to have with them. They're not accepting the house in any certain condition. They're acknowledging receipt of these reports. Lastly, if you're doing this in electronic signature, DigiSign, dotloop, one of those, all good. If you are doing this by hand signature, you always need to keep in mind that anything a client signs, they need a copy of. So if you are printing this out, work that printer, because you're going to need to make 2 copies of the CIS, 2 copies of the wire fraud, etc., 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 etc. 2 copies of each. They walk home with one. A nice touch. Put it in a folder for them. But here's the 2 things. Let's just sum it up. Here's the 2 things I want you to remember. First, think 6. You're going to need 6 primary forms every time there's a sale. And these are the 6 that are going to be uploaded in the SkySlope. And number 2, they always get a copy of it. Now, if it's on an electronic signature, it's always there. But if you're doing a hard signature in a coffee shop, you want to print out 2 copies of each one. All right, that's it for now, and we'll go over each form individually.